Today I'm recording this video because I just wanted to put my own thoughts on the record regarding the election in West Bengal and its consequences for the rest of this country. So the youth of this nation are very aware. They are very well informed. And they know exactly what is going on, and they have seen exactly what is going on. And there is a segment of the youth who are radicalized and who cannot be convinced. But the educated, unemployed youth, which is the vast majority of them, I believe, are fully aware of what is happening and what has happened in West Bengal today. In West Bengal, we have seen that in every constituency where Mamata Banerjee had won in the last election, Gyanesh Kumar has deleted the names of as many voters, at least as many voters, as her winning margin in the last election. So if there was a constituency in which she won by 6%, Gyanesh Kumar has deleted 7% votes in that constituency. And this is real, everybody knows this. This is not some conspiracy theory. This is a fact. This is in the news that 27 lakh voters have been, their names have simply been erased. And everybody has also seen how the Supreme Court has reacted to this issue, how it has responded, with one so-called honorable justice saying that, so what, they can vote in the next election. Such a statement, I think, is comparable to what Marie Antoinette said back in France in the late 1700s. Because when the starving masses were rioting outside her royal palace, the Queen, Marie Antoinette, was told that, Your Majesty, the people, they don't have bread to eat. And so the ruling class at that time was so disconnected from the on-the-ground conditions that when she was told that the people have no bread to eat, what she said was, let them eat cake instead. Because in her world, that is what one would do. If you didn't have water, you would drink wine. If you didn't have bread, you would eat cake. And so our ruling elite has also become so disconnected from on-the-ground reality. And they have such little investment in the on-the-ground reality. They don't really care. And ultimately, it's not a question of BJP or Modi or any one political party. It's just a simple fact that the entire Indian ruling elite lives and exists for and only for the sole purpose of its own upliftment and its own enrichment. This is what I have seen in my 47 years of existence. Most of that, the vast majority of that, living and breathing not just in North India but also in the South. In the South, of course, conditions are dramatically better than in the North. And this is one reason why BJP has not been able to electorally capture Kerala and Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. For the simple reason that such an electoral capture requires cooperation of the civil services, the bureaucracy, the state administration, and where people are educated and where people are not religiously radicalized, and where people are not easy to fool and to drive into passion or into hate, there it is difficult to electorally capture the system, because the system depends on many moving pieces. It's not just Gyanesh Kumar sitting at the top. It is the STMs, the DMs, the BLOs, the volunteers at the booth level, and most importantly, the voters themselves. And more importantly, BJP didn't really have much of an interest in capturing Tamil Nadu and Kerala, for the simple reason that they really don't view much of the south as being a part of, Bharatvarsh, as they call it. So for them it is sufficient, and they're happy to have complete dominion over the so-called Hindu belt or the cow belt, from Rajasthan to Gujarat to Bihar and now to West Bengal. Because under our existing constitution, unfortunately, having control over this region is enough to give you control over the entire country. And the reason for this is very simple, is that we don't have a second house of parliament like the United States Senate, whose members are elected not on the basis of proportional representation according to how many people there are in a given region, like in the Lok Sabha, but according to regional representation. So under the Senate system, for instance, every state, no matter how big or how small, would get a fixed number of senators, say 2. And that means that UP, with its population nearly approaching that of Europe, would also have 2 senators in the upper house, and Sikkim, which is a far smaller state, would also have 2 senators. Kerala would also have 2 senators. Tamil Nadu will also have 2 senators. And these senators should be elected by direct vote. So right now what the Rajya Sabha is basically, it doesn't really represent the people, right? It represents the political blocks which are already present in the Lok Sabha. And it is such an absurdity, though nobody really brings this up very often or at all, that you can be born and brought up in Punjab or Ludhiana, and you can be made the member of parliament from Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha from Tamil Nadu. And this applies not just to Rahul Gandhi, of course, it applies to everybody, to all the politicians who take advantage of the system. So, and for those of you who will say that, well, what can the BJP do if the opposition is so incompetent? Well, it's hard to be competent when the regime in power cuts off your hands and legs. I mean, look at what they're doing with Arvind Kejriwal. Right? This man has been cleared. There is no case against him. There is simply no case, right? There's no evidence. Or against Omar Khaled or Sharjeel Imam, or the dozens or probably at this point hundreds if not thousands of political prisoners locked away in various places around this country. So that is enough to keep everybody in line. There are just a few crazy people like Kejriwal and Rahul who still have the guts to speak out, even if speaking out might mean not just the end of their personal and professional lives, but also of their own actual lives. Because that's what is at stake here, right? Ultimately, it's not just a question of politics, it's a question of money. And where you talk about the amount of wealth which can be extracted from a nation of 1.4 billion people and the amount of power that can be derived from that wealth, it becomes clear that the stakes for the people involved are very, very high. Because where you have a lot to gain, you also have a lot to lose. So anyways, I just want to wrap this up by saying that, look guys, I know all of you see what is happening and you know what is happening, but it's not just enough to see and to know. You have to do something, right? By doing something, I don't mean anything violent, okay? For the simple reason, not because I'm a Gandhian or a pacifist or anything like that, which in some ways I guess you could say I am. But more importantly, because violence is the easiest thing for any dictatorial regime to crush. Because the moment you are violent, they can be 10 times more violent than you. They have CRPF, they have army, they have RAW, they have NIA, CBI, they have every state police with them. So the only way, right, is to do non-violent, non-cooperation, ahimsak satyagraha. And that's what Kejriwal is doing. And that's what also Rahul did with his 3,000 kilometer long Bharat Jodo Yatra, which, I mean, come on man, that guy walked 3,000 kilometers from the south to the north, right? Okay, so he took a break every night. Can you take a break every night and walk 20 kilometers and do that until you have covered 3,000 kilometers, all the while trying to not get killed by some crazy person in the crowd, and also meeting and talking to hundreds and thousands of your supporters along the way, right? It's not easy. Look at me, right? I'm walking. I just walked about 2 kilometers or so since the video started. And I'm already tired. So that's what we need to do. But we can't sit at home. We can't just tweet. We can't just write petitions on change.org, because those do, and how do I put it politely, fuck all to change the system. The only thing that power recognizes is strength, and the best way to show that strength is in numbers. And when hundreds and thousands or millions of youth are out on the streets and protesting non-violently, willing to take the blows of the machine, right, but not willing to raise a single hand in response, then the machine will stop on its own. It will just give up because it simply doesn't have the resources to deal with that, right? And if people are violent, then any protest, any satyagraha can be crushed, because they control all the organs of media, judiciary, investigative agencies, police agencies, right? So it's a choice which is up to us. Well, not so much me, I'm already pretty old by Indian standards, but it's up to this youth of India Are you happy just making reels? Are you happy just drinking tea from the local chai wala and eating the pakoda to fill your stomach? It's up to you, man. Every generation has to fight for its own freedom. And now it's your turn. So, with that, I'll say, sign off by saying, Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Jai Bharat.